Welcome to Toffee TV. We've got Ell Bretland in the studio with us. We're building up to the new season. Oh, it's nearly here, but it's already here. It's weird that, isn't it? It's weird because it's, yeah. We are looking back. The pre-season's finished. We obviously played our final game against Seville, and it's all preparations for the Premier League. So where are we? Where do we feel we are after what, 4 pre-season games and 2 Europa League qualifying games, and doesn't feel quite there, Baz.
Unbeaten. That's where we are.
Yeah, that's important,
I suppose. Yeah, bits are good, bits not so good, and some questions still unanswered, basically, for positions in the team. I think we've definitely improved, without a shadow of a doubt, in terms of the quality we've got and the options we've got. But we haven't replaced a big thing, and the big thing was Romelu Lukaku, which is at a focal point up front. We've got Sandro, looks really nice and sharp. We've got Rooney, who's dead intelligent and still got the ability. But for me, we still need. There's still a couple of key positions actually, but most pressing at this moment in time is a centre forward, a physical presence, if you like. That's where I would say.
I think fitness-wise we're ready, but I don't think we're ready to really challenge in the Premier League until that transfer window closes. Still gaps in the squad. I think we're at the stage now where Koeman knows his 11. But
do you think that though?
Yeah, but
that's controversial.
He knows his 11, but 3 of the players don't play for Everton yet. That's the problem.
3?
And so that's, I think.
Sounds like a newspaper headline, that, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think the 3, Sigurdsson, the striker, and a quality centre back.
But do you think we can get Van Dijk?
Dick.
Dick, yeah, more like it.
We need to get someone, and I think, to be honest, the start of the season, I think Jagielka's ahead of Williams now. I really do. I think starting him against Sevilla, I just don't think Williams is. I think.
Let's be honest, right? Because you can be honest on here, Ellis. He don't look fit. No. He doesn't look fit at all. He came back and he looked overweight, and you know when footballers look overweight, because they only need to have a little bit of extra, and they look overweight. That's the area we live in. I mean, we remember pre-season when players used to come back like 2 or 3 stone, and like would be wearing plastic bin bags and stuff to get the. Now all it takes is a little bit, and he look overweight, and he just. I'm not going to single him out, but he doesn't look quite ready. I don't think
he looks sharp, does he?
He doesn't look quite ready, and who knows, maybe he's been carrying a knuckle or something, so don't really want to go into the details, but we were saying last week we want a centre back to come in who is going to be first choice, not a stopgap or a backup, someone who can come in. I think the only caveat to that is that he might be he sounds like he's looking for a centre back who rolls into a left back.
Yeah,
so he can cover, and that doesn't sound like me. He wants a first choice.
That's something to address next summer or in January, where you get, rather than one player covering 2 positions, you fill in either side.
No matter what you say about Funes Mori, there is a lot we could say about Funes Mori. He
cracking barbecue fella.
Yeah, and oddly he hasn't had one barbecue all summer.
When he can,
which is just dead
weird.
He's
off for 9 months.
Hasn't been that hot this summer though, like the last few months.
It's hot in December.
He has it in December in his bills.
He had it at like a.
Like 1 o'clock in the morning once, he had the canopy over it, giving it that, watching River Plate at 2. He doesn't need the summer. Old Funes.
No, but he can play left back.
Yeah.
He can fill in at left back and left. I know, but
it's worrying for 90 minutes. But
I remember Norwich in the League Cup.
Yeah, but he can as a squad player. So so he's obviously looking for someone who can fill that role, and that doesn't want to go and throw all his eggs in one basket by just buying a centre back or buying a left back. But I don't know, maybe you should go out and look for both if you want to do it properly.
I think so, yeah. But I think the first 11 that start against Sevilla is the way to go. I think we look good.
I don't think it is.
Do you know?
No, I disagree with you.
Who do you reckon?
Well, I just generally disagree. I will come on to that in a moment.
Right.
No, I do disagree with that. We'll come on to that in a minute. But striker as well. I think a striker, because when you think about it, right, we've replaced Lukaku and Valencia with Sandro and Dominic Calvert-Lewin effectively. I know Wayne Rooney's a centre forward, but if you think about those 2 positions, that's what we've replaced. So Lukaku, Valencia, Sandro.
So Sandro's better than Valencia?
Yeah, but he's not better than Lukaku.
No, I'm just saying.
But what I'm saying is, Baz, We've shipped out a striker and a lone striker.
And the main thing is the different players, aren't they?
And we've brought. So we've got, but what it is ultimately is it's all this is 2 for 2. Yes, Rooney can play there, but we desperately need another.
We need a focal point. They're all.
Yeah. We've said this.
The problem we've got is that they're all my size. And while that's nice when you're playing nice football, you'd have to mix it up. If it's sticking up there... See, this is the criticism I had with Lukaku, because when he was big and strong, but his hold-up play was crap. Yeah, it improved marginally, but not very well. And so some games we naturally struggled with that, because he couldn't do it either. Yeah. But if you look at good centre-forward, look at Harry Kane, for argument's sake, right? Who's up there with Ron, goal for goal, but Kane can keep the ball for him. Look at Olivier Giroud, he's strong and he brings other players. And Costa, who apparently now Atletico said they're not touching him till next summer. Go and get him. Go and whatever. If he costs 160 grand a week, go and give him it. Even if it's a loan for a year. Chelsea don't want him.
No.
He's bobbing around, he can do it. He's horrible. And I don't know whether I'd like him, but I'd love him. If you know what I mean, because he brings players into.
We need a striker that plays with his back to goal.
Yeah,
we've got all the forwards that can buzz around that player, but we need. It doesn't stick. It never sticks.
It's like people are giving some. So I've seen loads who are supporting Davy Klaassen, and I think he's great. To be honest with you, I think he's really bright. But I see some people giving him stick, and half the reason is because he's trying little flicks. But he's trying little flicks when everything's moving. Yeah. Whereas if he had someone to use up as a wall, I think he'd be even better. In, back, off.
Because we've got no one who can run beyond either.
No.
They're all
because they're all
hovering,
joining in, aren't they?
They're hovering, and so the ball isn't really in the box as much as it should be. And I think that's why Dominic Calvert-Lewin, the last game and a bit, he's not a Lukaku, is he? But he's able to do what we want from that centre forward position. It does stick to him a bit. He does win the ball in the air, and that's what we've been missing. So I've been encouraged by him in the last game.
It's a prototype, isn't it?
We need basically a quality version of that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the thing about sticking is so important, and it's something that has sort of drifted out of modern football. You need, you know, you seen him when he was the manager of Southampton, and the way Pele and he had players, and that allowed the likes of Mane to go past them. If you've got, you know, it's you know, you've got your midfield. You want your midfield to get the ball and be nice and bright with it. But if you're going to move up the pitch, you need to go. You know, it's like going up a level, isn't it? You need to move up to that next level. It sticks there, all your players, and that's when your fullbacks become really important. Yeah. And then everyone moves up again, and it allows that midfield.
I was talking
about yesterday. We had probably the best one ever, and he's not even a centre forward. It was Fellaini. Yeah. Whether you like them or not, you knew if you threw a ball up to him, it would just stick. It would go. Then it would allow Seamus Coleman to go round the back. He'd go, and then the next minute it's in the box, and you've got. It works so well.
If you look at it, like the Fellaini stuff with Everton under Moyes, we didn't really have quick players under Moyes, did we? We didn't have anywhere near the quality we've got now. I would say we had some good players, of course we did. Otherwise we wouldn't have done well. With Cahill was marvellous, Coleman and Baines absolutely fantastic, and we had Jags in his peak. But Fellaini, like you just said, a centre midfield players. We're nowhere near as good as what we've got. The squad now miles better, but if you had some, but we were able to negate something which is being rife on Twitter, started by certain people. David Downey, I'm looking at you, about the pace thing. But Everton showed at that time it wasn't the be all end all. Now, okay, it fell short in some games, but that was generally because we didn't have quality. Whereas we've got that now, and we look. There's a reason why we look unfinished at the moment, and it's because there's that glaring hole at the top end of the pitch. Everything is nice and it's bright. It is slow at times, but it's because there's no one to it. Whereas if you've got someone to feed it in and get it back, it enables the whole team to move
as well. I think when we talk about a target man and hold it up, we're thinking about runners like centrally. But when you think Baines, Coleman, John Joe Kenny, we want them to whip crosses in. Who's there to finish those crosses?
And also though, as a fullback, you need to know that if you make that run, it is coming to you, or it's staying. It's not. As soon as that fullback goes back past the line of where the ball is, if that ball suddenly goes the other way, they're done. They're gone. And how many times have we seen us being turned? Like when Barry, played in midfield, the fullback goes past. It happened all the time in Martinez's second season. It happened. It was the biggest thing of us losing games.
Remember Burnley away, just as an example. the ball's fed into Lukaku.
Yeah.
We bomb on, he takes a poor touch, knocks it, and they get in, and Danny Ings scored within 2 seconds because everyone had dropped, and then he done it second half, and we got someone made the last ditch challenge and got us out of trouble. That was just a problem that is highlighted, that you can see when you centre forward. You see with other teams where the strikers don't hold the ball up enough, and Everton have been the team that's pounced on it, and we've got in, and you know, and I think someone like Liverpool, who are built on quick players, they play slightly a different way. But tell you what, Firmino, who's not a centre forward, holds the ball up really well for him, and he'll come and take it and he'll lay it off, and they will move, and they're built differently. What Everton, we can't compare ourselves to that, because we're not getting, Koeman isn't building us like that, and we have to accept that. We are a different model. The same way as Manchester City are a different model to Liverpool, Chelsea are a different model to everyone else. You know, United now will be interesting to see how they go, because they had one of the best target men around last year when Zlatan was at Goodison. One of the best displays I've seen, apart from Ben Techer, who I have to say was excellent at Goodison last year as well. Ibrahimovic in keeping it and just slowly bringing players into.
But ironically though, Man United fans felt they were better without him, because it enabled the way their team was more set up for a Lukaku, a player to put the ball in front of, than a player with his back to goal.
But yeah, so it does, 20.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't always. We talk about all these systems, and players, fans, and are always looking at other people's systems, going, "We want it like that. We want it like that." No one's got a perfect system. Chelsea won the league playing 3 at the back, and without having a massive amount of pace. They've got good general pace, but it's not like they've got lightning plays. And where they have got fast plays is full back or wing back. So that's what I think we are missing as a team.
But they could also, without that pace, throw it in and
exactly.
Costa was getting
so
on the end
we need a centre forward just to give us another point of and also we're talking about fast play. This team has got Rooney in it. It's got Klassen in it. It's got a new centre forward in it. So there's 3 attacking players straight away who've only played. I've played less than half a dozen games. They don't know how it all doesn't fit together yet, and that'll be the next thing as well. But it might not fit together till we get that striker, because in the manager's head he's thinking, I need that striker, so that little pass works there, and with Klassen and then Rooney and
that's what I think. I don't think Rooney can play his natural game in that position without that target man yet. I don't think Rooney set the world alight as such, and I think it was important he set the ground running. I think he's got you can see the quality. He's a class above anyone else in that Everton squad. But for him to really shine and for us to get the full benefit out of him, he needs that player that he can get the ball to play it into, run on. Because, Rooney...
But I thought he was really disciplined yesterday, playing off the right. I thought he'd done that better than anyone's done it for a while. He was up and down.
Every game he's played, I think he's done his job really well. But he's Wayne Rooney. He can get so much more out of him.
The thing about it is, though, it's like the Peter Beardsley syndrome with Wayne Rooney. We watched Beardsley, especially in his second season. It was like pulling teeth. The amount of times that Beardsley would see a ball. Freddie, no one was on the same. Not even saying on the same level. They weren't even on the same. We weren't even the same solar system as him. And the amount of times people just turn around to him and go, give him a look, as in to say, what was that? And it was just like, it was the perfect pass, mate. And it wasn't until when he went to Newcastle and got that connection with Andy Cole, and suddenly things just started clicking. And that's, I'm not saying that's what's happened with Rooney so far, but that's where that relationship with a centre forward on the same level needs to be. Because at the moment, Sandro is nothing but a ratter. And that's fine. He's a young lad coming from Spain. Everything's new to him. Premier League's going to be new. Living situation is going to be new. Probably, he's only speaking Spanish with like the likes of Morales and a couple of other players. So it's all very new. I mean, you can speak to the manager, which is a good thing, because the manager will be able to speak Spanish, won't he? So that's all that's new. So at the moment, he's quite erratic. But if you could get someone in like a Giroud, who is a little bit more attuned to him straight away, I think you'd see a lot more from Rooney.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it's almost like, because that focal point, as you said, isn't there, it's sort of like we're skimming around the box.
That's exactly what
we're playing passes back, diagonal, and no one's driving through. And I think that's why a lot of people have called for Tom Davies to be in that team. Because even at a midfield, when you look at our entire team, the midfield and attack, he's the only one that I think is forward thinking. Not that we go sideways all the time, but he's that one. Like, it showed, didn't it, the first goal? That was a Davies pass from deep. played right through. Whereas with Schneiderlin and Gay, where they sit, it never builds up. Yeah,
it's angles, isn't it? It's runs again, and we've seen Schneiderlin can go forward because with this passing, because we've seen it with Lukaku last year, or when we were on that roll and the rhythm was good, Schneiderlin would orchestrate the game. At the minute, that is missing because we are missing.
But that's the thing. I'm not saying that Schneiderlin and Gay can't do that.
No,
it's just there's no one
there.
It's whereas Davis, I think, has that eye for the pass where someone is on the wing and he plays it out that way. I think we've seen that quite a bit from Davis.
We done the final word the other night. Spoke about Gay and Schneiderlin, saying potentially Garner's in a little bit of trouble here because I'm not sure the two holding midfielders are needed
for more than half the home games at Goodison. I don't think it's got to be Davis.
It's got to be Davis with Schneiderlin because Davis does drive us forward, or Davis with Gay. If Schneiderlin needs a rest, it's one or the other at the minute. There'll be games, a lot of games they both have to play.
Yeah, I think away to the top six, you play with them sitting.
The pair of them
but elsewhere, you can mix it up. You can play as the three. You can play a Class and Schneiderlin, Davis, or you can put Gay in for one of them, and I think that still works.
I just think everything's in all of the games. We saw it. Twente was just like you said, a stage game. We were quite decisive enough, but Rooney was playing that role of holding it in and laying it off, and it's okay. But we don't really want him doing that because we want him affecting it with his head. The Beardsley thing, I remember us getting roasted at Anfield with Beardsley and the cops singing "What a waste of talent" because he was threading balls through, and we had players who were nowhere near his vision, and we've seen it yesterday a couple of times. Rooney put great balls through in the first half, no one ran, and you were like, that was actually a great ball if he'd have ran. Sandro asked for one, didn't go, and it got threaded through, and he stopped, and Rooney was like, well, if you're gonna run, I'll give you it. Don't ask and then not run because it makes you, and other players done as well. Davis put a great ball through for Sandro, and Holgate stopped running when he could have got there, and Baines. And
I think as well from centre back, I think Michael Keane's got an eye for a pass. He's quite. I think he's going to. I think him and Pickford are really, while they're defensive, they're going to benefit our attacks this season because they're quick thinking as well, and they can see a pass.
But the one thing because obviously we're going through the pre-season, the one thing I would say is, and quite comforting, I would say now was the Sevilla game. We actually look fit. Against Rosenberg, I was a bit like, we've still got a bit of work to do here. I didn't think that was the case. They were excellent at keeping the ball and moving, and Zonzi and Benega were fantastic at moving it. And I thought we'd done really, particularly the first half, with what you would class as probably our first 11. I thought we worked really.
But we had this conversation last week though, didn't we? It was like, I was a bit disappointed because I was treating the Rosenberg game as the first game of the season. And for me, that they should have been fit for that game, but they've used that to be fit for next week, which is fine. That's the manager's prerogative, and he knows he's got 2 more games in August than most teams, so that's going to help the fitness as well. But they did look a little bit sharper, and I suppose that's comforting. I mean, obviously we're still hoping, and at this point Gylfi Sigurdsson hasn't signed, but still there's a definite need for him as well, isn't it? Because again, it's all about fitting in the plan.
Are you worried about the fact that he's got, if he say he comes this week, it's like say he's here by Thursday, he's not played, he's played 45 minutes.
I'm not worried, and the reason I'm not worried is because the season starts this week, it doesn't end this week, and I think we get so preoccupied.
But we'd want him in there.
I know, but I think you get so preoccupied by everything has to be done by the first game of the season. It doesn't, because the window doesn't shut for a start, and then after 3 games, or for us it'll be 5 games, there's an international weekend, and like we always say, the real season doesn't start till that window.
Spurs is the real start of the season.
Till we come back from the international weekend. So I'm not worried, because he's a good pro. He'll catch up. He won't be too unfit. He's been training every day. He hasn't had the games, but he's been training every day. He'll play for, if he does sign, he'll go away to Iceland as well and play for them. I'm not I'm not worried at all. I'm more worried about just getting it over the line.
Plus, we've got the 2 Europa League games that he could feature in as well. Hadjuk split, where you could probably get away with a Sigurdsson that's 90% rather than 100% of the Premier League.
I'm not exactly looking forward to those 2 games. I'm not massively confident again on those.
I'm confident.
I would be more confident if we were home second leg.
Beat Bromby 2-0. I'm very confident.
No, but like as we're saying, Sigurdsson. At least you can see there's a Sigurdsson-shaped hole in the team. You know what I mean? Set pieces and just general delivery of the ball and having someone who's neat and tidy, and just having a manager who clearly has a idea in his head. Like, you only have to listen to the interview after the match and he's just like, I know what I want, I know where I'm short. I mean, how many times have we gone into the latter stages of the window and the manager's still umming and ahhing, or he's like, not penny pinching, but almost like, well, I need a centre forward, but I probably need a left back more. At least now he's like, I need that, and I'm getting that, and if I don't get that, there'll be murder.
Did you think it was a bit strange, the 7 million net and that kind of...
No, but I think what that was more to do with is he was not downplaying expectations, but what he was saying was, what's all this fuss about us spending loads of money? When really, look at everyone else. Everyone spent money in the top 6. City have spent money like from water, and no one's batting at it because it's Man City. But Everton, and what he was basically, I think what he was doing was he was just flipping it and going, well, hang on. In realistic terms, we've only spent 7. I mean, I know John Blaine and the lads from the Everton Business Matters podcast will dispute all the net spend, but I think what he was just doing is just, what's all this? In other words, I think what he was saying, it was actually quite beneficial for us. What he was saying was, listen, there's money. Don't worry. Yeah. I'm signing 3 players. I need them, and there's money, because in realistic terms, we spent nothing. Okay, the wages and all the rest of them, blah, yeah. But that's what he was basically saying. So what he was saying, he was talking to us directly as fans, saying, why are you still going on about money? Basically, he should have just said, he just should have said, listen, there's a vault in Mercedes yacht on the dock by where our new ground's going to be, and it's full of gold bullions, like in Game of Thrones. It's full of gold bullions, and we're just going to throw it at Swansea. That's what he should have said. It would sound a bit more better, wouldn't it?
I don't know how professionally it would have sounded, but it'd have been an answer.
This is the thing as well, because we've signed players so early. I think a few Evertonians are thinking, now the season started, that's where the transfer window shuts, and that's where we've got to be ready, because we're not used to this. We're used to playing about 3 games and then signing players.
It's just all new. You always want the momentum to keep going, and if just because of the Sigurdsson thing,
but we've been sitting,
slows down a little bit because it's dragged on. I think
we've been sitting here for weeks, made up, because we wouldn't be doing anything on transfer deadline.
And hopefully we still won't. But what I mean is, I think the problem with the Sigurdsson stuff is it's gone on for that long. Yeah. You kind of lose the enthusiasm for it in. Whereas if it had been like 2 weeks ago, we wanted them, we've put our first bid in, boom, done, tied up, we'd all be like, oh, this is right, who else are we going to get? Now it's like, we need a centre forward, and we need Sigurdsson as well, and all right, he wants a centre back, but you look at the centre backs and you go, we can cope, you know, it's not perfect, because we would like another one, but I think we can't cope at the minute without a centre forward. No, we can't cope, because we could quite easily beat Stoke at the weekend 3-0 with who we've got, but ideally we would like to have a centre forward in. I don't think we're going to by then, but ideally for me that's where the big gaping hole is that I've taken from the pre-season.
Definitely. Just talking, I mean, some of who we've bought. I mean, who's your, like, the positives of who we've bought, or who's stuck out for you?
Michael Keane, I think, has been fantastic in every game for me. He just looks like he's been there for ages. There's no fuss, he just does his job. He's really good on the ball, which has surprised me. Excellent in the air, likes a tackle. I just think he's fitted in fantastically well, and I've been really impressed with Jordan Pickford. Really impressed with him in the couple of games he's played. Yeah,
Pickford, I said on Twitter, that's one of the best goalkeeping displays I've ever seen at Goodison yesterday. He was so good. I was saying to you earlier, he's only 6 foot. But when a striker's bearing down on goal, he like triples in size. He just
he's 18 foot. That's terrifying.
But honestly, I mean, I know he conceded 2 goals, so people who didn't watch the match
one's a penalty, isn't it?
I just thought his punching as well. Yeah. He's so committed. The one he's talking. Yeah. But I think with Pickford and Keane, I think they're going to be so solid for us. They're going to go under the radar a bit. No, they will. I'm convinced of it. I just think they'll continually put 7 out of 10 minimum every week, and I think the 2 absolutely brilliant signings, and they're the 2 for me.
Pickford's, as I say, we've spoke about it on after matches and stuff. He's got that authority about him already, and he as a goalie, he's got a bit of confidence about him.
He looks like a goalie. Yeah, that makes sense. He looks,
he's cocky about. He's cocky about. It's funny enough. He reminds me a little bit of Joe Hart when you see Joe Hart in the tunnel and stuff, where he's geared up for it, and he's like, you're not going to beat me today, he's up for it, and Joe Hart at his best when he was like proper. Joe Hart's got that mentality. He almost like he winds people up as well as strikers. You can imagine him on corners and stuff, telling people how crap they are and stuff. And he's got that. He seems like got that cockiness. But what I've liked about Keane is that Keane's come in straight away, and he's just like, he probably looks at the other two and goes, "I'm first choice, lads." That's the end of it. And there's an authority, and I think that's difficult. You come into a club, especially when you've got two senior players. Jagielka, the captain of the club, and Ashley Williams, captain of his country. Captain of Nando's as well, but Captain Birdseye, by the way, that's something's going. But he looks at those two players and probably just thinks, no, I'm the number one centre back in this team, and I think that's a big thing for centre backs, is knowing, because
who are we on about now? Keane.
Who do you think was going on?
Pickford, I was thinking.
No, but Keane has got he's got that authority to him, where he's little things. It's little things with a centre back, like who tells the rest of the defence to get up, who's calling the offside, who's marshalling. That's a big thing when you're like the lesser partner in that. It's a hierarchy thing.
But I think he has been the leader.
Exactly. That's why I'm loving it.
Yeah, but I think as well, Pickford, it's got to be said, he's going to set up a few goals next season. Or he's going to assist the assister so many times. I think it's a shame that he and Lukaku didn't get a season together, because Lukaku, the amount of balls where he wants, the amount of times he'd shout the goalie, get it over, and he wanted to play into the channel. Pickford and Lukaku would have had a goalkeeper striker partnership. It would have been really good. But I think Pickford, his all-round play is brilliant, and what an investment. He's so young, 30 million. If we can have him for a good 10, 12 years, then
the pass for the goal, Sheffield to Holgate was just ridiculous with the left foot. It's absolutely fantastic. But no, them two have been really, really strong, I would say. I like Klassen, like the look of him. I think he'll come good, no question about it. I think he'll get better. Be difficult for him. It's a faster league. It's a physical league. He's got to learn, but he doesn't shirk anything. He likes to work hard.
He keeps it simple, doesn't he? I think he's gone under the radar a bit in our pre-season because of the other transfers, but I think he keeps it ticking over. He doesn't really lose possession, and I think that's really important.
Good, both feet. Play
I think he's part of a jigsaw as well, isn't it? I know he's in that midfield. We don't know how it's going to be made up for every single game, which is good. And if he's like the tip of a three, then I think he'll help by having someone not far behind him, someone like Tom Davies, rather than two sit miles behind him. But again, it's going to be difficult because him, Rooney, Sancho, with the three of them just coming in, don't know each other's games. They don't know. There's signs of him and Rooney haven't been on the same wavelength. But you've got to find that with other players, haven't you? You've got to get that. And I think that will take a little bit of time, but I think it'll be okay. And
I've got to say, I'm not disappointed. Cuco Martina, he didn't introduce himself in the greatest fashion against Rosenberg, but I thought when he come on yesterday, against Sevilla, when he come on at left back, I thought he'd done all right. The first goal, he should have, he was probably a bit of fault for not closing the lad down now to run past him. But I thought after that he got on with the game. Thought he'd done okay. But I think the rest of them who've come in, I've been very impressed with that.
I think with Martina as well, it's quite interesting that he's come in as a right back. But on Sunday it was Holgate and Kenny right back, Baines and Martina, because we've said we need a deputy left back, don't we? And is that just going to be the cover for now? Is Martina going to be the one to play?
I think Mo Bezzett is centre back. And you know what?
It's not big enough.
He might tell you what though.
He's good
on the ball.
You've got to be Cannavaro.
I think he's got a lot of qualities, but he needs to start using his brain. 3 to 5 minutes in every game, he puts that foot in and he gives away a tackle. But it's every game.
Yeah, you can't afford that as a centre back. You can't afford to be on a yellow card.
No, but I'm just think it's interesting.
No, it's interesting.
Every time he's on centre back, and you're looking and going, could him and Keane potentially work? Like a overpowering centre back and a ball playing centre back. To me,
that screams the manager doesn't want to use him in the field. Which is
but then why isn't he kind of disregarding him then?
Because what's he going to do? He's got to keep him minutes, hasn't he? He is a squad player after all. He's part of the squad. He's got to play. I just think he's not going to play midfield. He's
best play wing back.
He's not quick enough, I don't think. Don't think.
But again, going back to Martin, it's interesting that Davies played right wing back on Thursday night, and again, I think that what it shows is the manager's not. I think what we're in now is a very fluid situation, and I think that was pointed out very clearly yesterday by John Joe Kenny and by Lookman. Two players who haven't had massive pre-seasons. I thought Lookman would have been knocking on the door, and he really hasn't been. Now I don't know whether that's because they've come back from the under-20s a little bit unprepared. I mean, Lookman was there first day. John Joe enjoyed himself a little bit longer. But then you can throw Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the mix and say, well, he's been playing games. But it doesn't mean every single player. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's a bigger lad. I
also think he's in a position where we haven't got anyone.
Exactly. So he benefits from that. Whereas John Joe's got Holgate, and I mean, don't forget, Holgate hasn't played that many pre-season games either. You've got Martina in there now as well. Lookman has got all these new players sort of in there as well. So, but I think what showed against Seville is that they can make an impact. They can make the impact like Tom Davies did last season, where they just come from nowhere and then suddenly they're in everyone's thoughts. And after the game yesterday, now everyone's saying, "Oh, we've got to give Lookman a start, or we've got to give Kenny a start," because suddenly their brightness showed something completely different. Certainly, I mean, Lookman, there's nobody like him in our squad. No one's got any pace like he has, and no one has got the kind of two-footed ability, drop of the shoulder that he's got, and that X factor should be enough to propel him right on the knocking on the door.
I think Lookman can improve our whole left side. I think Baines has been isolated ever since Pienaar left, and I think Lookman's got that ingenuity, and he can play the little 1-2s with him. As I've said, I think Sigurdsson can do as well. I think Sigurdsson is the one, but I think to have Lookman there as well, who can give it back to Baines, he can run to the byline, he can cut in, he can get a shot away like he did against Sevilla. But I think with Lookman, I think there's going to be one game this season where he's going to explode, and I think he's going to be a regular for the team. I think he's got that star quality. I know he's still young and he's been in and out the team, but I think as I say about Rooney, he's a class above. I think Lookman's got something about him where he's going to be a star.
There isn't many in our squad that have got got good players, but you're looking at different things. This will probably upset people, but Morales, I don't know what he does. I honestly don't know what he offers. I don't.
The thing is, I mean,
when he's on the left wing, he's a waste of a player. When he's down the middle, but again, he's going into that bracket where Rooney is, and where Sanzo is, and where Klaassen is. It's playing off a big target man. His best performance last season, I've said it many times, was Man City at home. He was absolutely brilliant that day, and he played almost just on Ron's shoulder. He set the first goal up, scored the second. He was a constant threat to them all day. When he plays on the left wing, Sandro done it yesterday, to be fair. He played where basically just in front of Baines, and I'm hoping that he's not going to get shoehorned there, but I think that was more Koeman saying, like, when we need a shape, this is where you have to go. And Baines was talking to him all the time, going, I've got someone, you've got to look after it. And to be fair to the kid, he's not afraid to work hard, Sandro. Morales offers nothing off there.
Because I think as well, like, I'm too young to have seen Kevin Sheedy, but with Kevin Sheedy, you think of Andrei Kanchelskis, both really skillful players, but when they get to that byline, their first thought is put the ball in the box for the striker. Morales, I think, would rather do another step over. His thought isn't about what the point of football is to score a goal, whereas he wants to do the tricks, he wants to go back, beat the man again, and there's the amount of times that he'll get to the byline or be in that position, and how many times, like 5 seconds later, the opposition have got the ball and they're attacking because he's lost it.
My fear for Morales is he's very much becoming like me in 5. When you play footy and you still think you've got it in your head, but you haven't got it in your legs. I think he's becoming one of them. I seen him last week when we played at the home leg, and he tried to take the fullback on, and he just didn't have it in his legs.
I think
he did not have any pace.
In his defence, though, I think centrally he's a far better player. He's far more dangerous.
But it's fitting him in, though, isn't it?
With the penalty,
and that's the problem with like someone like Lookman, isn't it? Yeah. Lookman looks like a hell of a player that you think someone like Man City would fit in absolutely perfectly. And I just really hope that the manager doesn't look at him and goes, well, you're really, really good, but I haven't got anywhere to play you because of the system we play. And we found that a little bit already. Ross might be suffering from that in a way. You're a really good player, but I can't afford you as this free roll or whatever. And I just hope Lookman doesn't fall between the cracks.
But I think, don't you think Koeman's he's a bit more flexible, though, I would say. So he could. It might be that we change the formation at times, and Lookman comes in and he goes, I'm nailing this down. And
I agree, but
I'd rather have Lookman coming on than Morales.
Couldn't you imagine a situation at some other clubs, even better clubs, where Lookman could play as a centre forward down the middle? just with that pace, the way they play.
With another. But
forget about all your strength and everything. Just other clubs play purely on the break, don't they? And they don't necessarily worry about back to goal or how. There's not a build-up of play. It's quick, fast football that gets the centre forward away because he's got pace. And you can imagine someone like.
But I'd see him. I think he can do that. He used him last year on the left, didn't he? But he used him on the left defensively, like he used Morales and like he uses Calvert-Lewin. It doesn't really work. You know, I think if Lookman's gonna play, he's best affecting the game at the top end of the pitch. So he's got to be, like you say, as a forward. But I think as a wide forward, I don't think he could play down the middle. The Premier League's too tough for that. But what you would have to do is make sure your three across the middle then are able to cover, or say to Baines, don't come any further than the halfway line, so you're not getting caught. He has to have the ball high up the pitch. So it may be that if Sigurdsson comes in, Sigurdsson's the left of Schneiderlin and Davies, or Klassen and Schneiderlin or Garner. And so Sigurdsson's the insurance, if you like, allowing Lookman. The same on the right hand side. The same if Sandro's playing off the right, or Rooney or whoever. You've got to have that little bit of insurance on this side. Do you know what I mean?
I think because of the energy they've both got, I think Calvert-Lewin and Lookman should be like our plan B off the bench next season. I think for the last 20 minutes, I think Calvert-Lewin can stretch the back line. He can win those little flick-ons. And when you're against the defence that's been playing 70, 80 minutes of Premier League football, do you really want Ademola Lookman running at you, doing his tricks, getting in, and then you got Calvert-Lewin as the, he can nip in and stuff.
At the end of the day, though, it is up to Lookman though to have an end product.
Yeah.
Because it's all right, and we've seen it yesterday. He's lovely, right foot onto left foot, smash one on, he makes a save. They've got to go start going top corner, and I know that might be a little bit cruel, but no, they have to, don't they? If you want to make
the difference,
if you want, it's
but also,
or just crosses that land.
He had the other one where he picked it up centrally and he went on the run. He slipped it in, and Calvert-Lewin strayed offside, but it was brilliant. He threw everyone in.
That was the bit of play that I was thinking.
But that's what I'm saying. But no, that's what I'm saying. There has to be end product. He either has to put it in the top bin, or he has to put a decent cross in, or assist that. But that's what I'm saying.
Because that's the thing. As soon as he starts doing that, that's him ahead of Morelos in the team. That's it. Because Morelos can't do it.
There's no point saying, well, did you see that bit when I dropped my shoulder and I went that way and went back? We've seen that last season. We've seen
he's got the ability.
All the chances he had. We've seen all the ability, and we've seen it when he came on against Crystal Palace, and when he came on against West Ham. It was all great. It was all, but he didn't score, and he didn't set anyone up. And again, I might be being harsh, but that's the difference.
Well, he missed 2 good chances at Middlesbrough that would have won us the game.
Exactly.
Would have won us the game.
So that's the difference. So that's the step you've got to make. If you want to say to the manager, I'm ready to go in the team, then be ready to go in the team.
I'm going to love him because he owned Wilshere with that lovely little trick where he stood and flicked it through Wilshere.
I think the good thing about our forward line as well, if we get the target man, that target man's going to be there all the time as the centre forward. But when you look at all our other attacking players, you can look at Sigurdsson, he can play on the left, he can play number 10. You look at Lookman, he can play there. Morelos, Rooney, they can all. And you look at it, and I think for a good 2 decades, we've had a starting 11, haven't we? It's been very rigid. It's been, you've had like your Cahill, your Arteta, your Carsley. It never moves. Game to game, whoever you're playing, you could never mix it up. Now, you could ask 20 Evertonians, name your team, and you could have a different one, and each one you could see the benefits of why you would go with that 11.
This is what we've been saying though with the pre-season and how you build up to that squad, is that we're looking now and we're going through, we're going Sigurdsson, we're going Lookman, and you're going, oh mate, but then Rooney might, or then Klassen might be on the bench, good. You want to go to match and go, oh, now look at the bench, Rooney,
well, I thought that on Sunday, you know what I mean? Bench looked, you had Gay, I know Williams, Barry, but last season they were starting. So I think
that's what I said about Morales when Morales signed the new contract, or the extension, or whatever it was, the new contract, for want of a better word. If he becomes the level of our sub, our club's gone up a level, our playing staff has gone up a level, because he was the starter for such a long period of time. I just look at him now and I think, who would I want coming off the bench with 25 minutes to go? Ademola Lookman. Before Kevin Morales.
But it's encouraging, isn't it, that in Koeman's second year, that's what we're looking at the bench, and hopefully in the third year you'll be looking at the bench and you'll be going, look who's missed out, who hasn't even got in the 18.
Can't believe Aguero's not even starting 11. But that's the challenge, isn't it? And I think, but you know what's coming back every time we're talking about these options is how important that target man's
because just to have that focal point. I mean, you mentioned before, but your starting 11 be the same as yesterday.
Oh yeah, go on.
See, I would start with John Joe Kenny because.
Oh, sorry, yeah. That would be my point that I would make.
Okay.
It's got to be Kenny ahead of Holgate.
Because I just think that he is the most natural right back that we have, with the ability to go forward as a proper winger, come full back like we see at the moment, and we're gonna need it because Baines on the other side obviously slowed up a little bit. You see, if you got Baines and you got someone in front of him who is more naturally attacking. No, more naturally attacking, so Baines doesn't have to go forward enough. It allows on the right hand side someone to be a little bit less disciplined.
You always have 3 defenders then, shouldn't you?
Yeah, and I think for me, I think this is what's great, and I think it's the same with Lookman and happened with Davies last season, is that you've got a situation where don't worry about the first day of the season or the first couple of days of the season. It's a long season, and hopefully it'll be even longer because of cup competitions. Everyone will get used, and just because you don't start as a starter, there will be chances during the season. Oh, yeah. I think that's got to be key.
Squad game,
and I think what you look at the players who've gone out on loan. Robinson, Kieran Dahl, Galloway, Joe Williams, Pennington, Browning. They're all players who they're all too good for the under-23s now. They've had a year in the 23s, they've won it. There's no point them having another year there.
They're all in the championship.
So they're all in the championship, they're all working hard, they're all getting that other side of football.
They'll all be starters in the championship.
Pretty much, you'd like to think. Yeah. But Kenny, obviously, is still with the club, and hopefully he stays with the club. Lookman, even though there's talk of him, Derby wanting them, who cares? You hope that they will be on those fringes, because obviously Calvert-Lewin, Holgate, they are established squad players now. But Kenny, there's still a question mark. So go and, like we were saying about Lookman, go and earn that spot.
Do you think he's hesitant on Kenny because maybe defensively he doesn't think he's as strong?
But I'll answer that now. But don't you think he was hesitant on Davies?
He was
till Davies proved it.
Yeah.
I think Koeman has got 90% of things right in his Everton career. But for me, is the one little black mark on him is the fact that he's taking that little bit long on the younger players to realise what he can bring. It's like Calvert-Lewin. How long has he been played on that right wing?
Yeah, but he's played there to do the job. But what we can sit here and pontificate at times over who should be playing. We're not privy to training every day. Now every day, John Joe Kenny might be fantastic bomb on forward. Koeman spoke at Swansea about why he put him on, how good he is at putting the ball in. So he knows his forward qualities. He wouldn't have come out and said that. He'd have just gone, the young lad there, and I threw him on. He didn't. He went, I put him on because he's better than Mason at putting the ball in the box. But in training every day, he might be getting skimmed by Morales. He might be getting skimmed by Lookman. And he's looking and going, hang on a sec, he's getting done here and he needs to learn. Because there was one yesterday, funny enough, after he come on, where the lad done him inside out and he didn't know where he was. And in the box, he gave it away and got it back. And then he ended up launching it, and you were like, don't take a chance there. Do not take a chance there. Now, it might take 6 weeks of training, and he might be looking, Kenny going, and then Penny might just drop. We've seen at the 23s, he's very good defensively. Yeah. Now that might just be a confidence thing, or it might just be a fact that he's gone up a level. He's up against ability here, raw ability. I can say Morales isn't good enough. I could go and try Mark Morales, he'd skim me, put it through me legs, flick it up, whatever. Because we're talking about, it's all relative. We're saying not good enough. These are fantastic players. When you step up, I think that what's out Tom Davies is, you can give a fuck about anyone. Kenny reminds me the saying, that mentality, I want to play. And it just might be at the minute, just defensively, he sees him every day, don't forget. Defensively, it might just mean that he might need to tighten up, where Mason is a little bit more.
Well, he's a centre back, isn't he? So
exactly, so he knows how to defend. He's not really improving going forward, but he might be. You can't sometimes teach that, of course. I mean, Kenny put one in yesterday, ball got played out to him, third time he whips the clock, and you go, what a delivery.
But it's easy. I think it's easier to teach the other way. I think you can teach an attacking player to defend rather than
it just might take a bit of time.
When Baines arrived, he wasn't the greatest defender. Seamus Coleman's still not the greatest defender.
No.
But I suppose all the tricks in the book how to defend it, getting the basics right. I just think
Baines is a great example, to be honest, because Baines was a footballer more than a defender. And he was the first kind of defender I've seen for a while. I've seen fantastic players like Gary Stevens and Pathfinder now. Baines was the first real football and fullback I've seen us have, who would get the ball 50 yards and whip it in first time into strikers.
But also think about,
but knock it in.
But the thing with Baines is Baines thinks about things. If when he puts into someone's feet, he makes a run to knowing that the way it's going to go, and that's why the relationship with Pina. I think the other factor with Kenny is because he was at that tournament, because he's a young lad, he's come off the back of the under-23s. There might, you've got to make sure that he isn't jaded, and you do the process right so that he comes in at the right time. But I think if anything, the manager has shown that if you keep knocking on that door hard enough, you will get your chance.
Oh yeah,
and he's just got to keep doing that and take it. And as I say, it's the same with Lookman. Make it so he can't. Look at that. Isn't that what everyone needs? No, I know, but as a young player, though,
can't drop you.
As a young,
but aren't you encouraged by the fact that Tom Davies? We were sat here till December last year going, play Tom Davies. Well,
that's my thing with Koeman. I just think he needs to have a bit more belief in them, especially pre-season. I mean, shouldn't John Joe Kenny be starting that game?
But again, we don't know.
45 minutes.
We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know.
Could be in the red zone. Could be.
We don't know how it. It's hard, and people. The most encouraging thing for me at this time, at this moment, he's still in it. He's still playing for Everton. He's not on loan.
The most encouraging thing for me is Martinez started against Rosenberg at home. Had a poor game because he did. And he's not played right back again.
But that's the thing, Baz, you're saying about what he sees in training, but we've seen it. Martinez had a bad game and Kenny's had a good game, and I just...
But Martinez not being back at right back, has he?
Yeah. That's my point though. So surely Koeman's gone with Martinez first because that's what he's seen.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's been proved wrong as such, but will Martinez be at right back again?
Well, Martinez might be better than Slater, mightn't he?
Yeah.
Defensively. We can sit here and we're always going to have an opinion, and rightly so. We should have an opinion. The other factor to throw in there, new keeper, new centre back. Yeah. And you're going to throw a young right back in as well. Don't forget, Mason Holgate started last year. We were at the last game. Sure, you were there, the last pre-season friendly. Seamus got injured, ended up being out for a month or whatever it was.
I remember,
And Mason Holgate was in. He was in. Spurs at home, and he was fantastic. One mistake unfortunately led to Lamella's header because he wasn't such tight, but he done really well. I remember Stoke at home, he was up against their best player, and I know we're doing the preview with Stoke with Arnautovic, and he was great, and he ended up coming out the team. I was fuming at the time. Coleman come straight back in because Holgate hadn't put a foot wrong. So we're talking here going, I think John Joe should play, but Mason Holgate is a good defender, and he done well for us, and so that's why I tend to agree with you, is that I think the starting 11 that started against Sevilla probably be quite close, and that's a big call, because I'd have said 10 days ago Williams is nailed on to play,
and Garner, but you've looked at the situation with Garner and Sneijder and Garner have not had good pre-seasons in terms of, I know it's about fitness and stuff, but both of them, passing wise, it's just been awful. But I suppose
you look off it a little bit.
Sneijder's ahead of Garner because of his ability, because he can sit deep, win the ball. Those long legs can just get him out of trouble, and he's obviously got the passing range as well. He keeps everything ticking over. But you look at Tom and you just think, Tom's that in-between player that can give us that little bit of energy. We spoke about last week. He'll run all day. You've seen the pass for the goal against Seville. He's always got his head up. He's always positive. He's always looking for forward passes. Garner doesn't do that. He just doesn't do it. And
I could see Tom starting against Stoke, and then we go to City and Chelsea.
Of course,
and that's the way it should be. That's the point of the squad, isn't it?
Klassen could be pulled out of those two. You might go, you know what, no, I'll have Garner and Sneijder, and I want Tom in front of them, because he will do all that pressing.
I don't think it can't be underestimated how important Tom Davies is to this team. I think he's vital, and I think he was the reason why the bad run we had, he came in the last season, he came in the team, things changed, didn't
we needed that energy, didn't we? With that, Garner was going away as well, obviously.
The team we picked against Sevilla, I'm encouraged by that, because I think that formation and the personnel, it suits everyone's game. But as I said about Calvert-Lewin on the wing, Rooney's not a winger either, but he's got more ability that he can buzz around that centre forward. Calvert-Lewin can wear that.
See, I suppose the flip side to what I'm saying about John Joe Kenny with Holgate is that if you did have Rooney just off the right and you had John Joe Kenny, it's Coleman. So therefore, Rooney would then be able to come in more centrally, and he'd know that he's got an option to play out.
And even then, if you've got Davis in midfield as well, he can make that same run.
There's others, whereas with Holgate, Mason runs and kind of slams the brakes on, and that's why sometimes we're loaded on the right. Yeah. But we've got like Leicester at home in the FA Cup last year. Holgate was getting so far up and stopping his crossing, and we took him off at half time, and
it's my main bugbear as well. I think Everton are in a position now where we don't need the square pegs round holes. It really annoys me. Like, at one point severe, we had a centre midfielder at centre back, a centre back at right back, and a right back at left back. Now that's fine, it's pre-season, but Everton aren't in that position anymore. There's a transfer.
Well, I suppose though that
I say minutes might need.
All those ones you just said there, they can be that would be eliminated by those signings.
Exactly.
Effectively.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's the main thing. You need to get those signings in. Get because it's a case now of he needs 3 players to complete his squad, and that's his squad complete. All right, it's not a squad that's going to win us the league, but you've got to have the full picture, haven't you? There's no for me. There's no point. There's no point buying, 8 players if you need 10. You know, or whatever the number is. If you've got an idea in your head of how your team works and how it all fits together, the ultimate on FIFA with all the lines, and you get, it is a bit like that. If you've got an idea in your head of how it all fits together and you don't get those final pieces, then what was the point? What was the point in going? It's
like, what was the point in if you spend 100 million? What's the point if you haven't gone and got? The key areas,
because I think if
why have you spent 100? You may as well have spent. You may as well.
Which is what we've seen in the Premier League.
Because as Evertonians, we've never seen a transfer window like this, and I think the first month of the window, you give it a 10 out of 10 for the efficiency. But then in August, if you don't get those missing pieces of the jigsaw, like you say, all of a sudden the summer becomes like a 7 out of 10 or even a 6 out of 10.
But because
you've bought those players, but then there's gaping holes, so you've not progressed as you should.
We'll all turn around and go, the efficiency was marvellous in June, and it was fantastic. We wanted them, we got them, we signed them with them. But as you're trying to get fine-tuning, it becomes
so much harder
to get people out of clubs. Liverpool have seen
the last time I was on
Toffee
TV, we said, didn't we? The players that we're now looking for, they're going to be that little bit harder to get. Partly because of the need for us. Teams know that they're the missing piece.
It is, but also because then teams, where we're trying to get them areas, teams don't want to sell. They really don't want to sell them.
And also because we sold Lukaku.
Yeah, I mean, if we'd have kept Rom.
No, what I mean is we've got all that money now.
We've got the money.
What I mean is that clubs see the money down and go.
But imagine if we'd sat here on Lukaku, still an Everton player, and we had everyone we had.
Oh, win the league.
You'd just be going.
Yeah, win the league.
Won it, pissed it. But we'd be going. We just need, if we get Sigurdsson, that's fun. That's incredible.
I also think it's interesting that a year ago we wanted Belfodil, and that all went quiet. But that shows how long Koeman has wanted a tall centre forward. And it's gone on that long. That where's the replace? Belfodil obviously wasn't top of the list in terms of quality.
It's just what he wanted
but as Everton have improved, I'm encouraged by that. That it was Belfodil last year. Koeman's always wanted. Now it's Giroud.
It's weird. What I do find slightly weird though is that they are taking at the moment a transfer at a time. That's a bit weird. I think if you really want a centre forward, well, why aren't we? If we're so far down the line with Sigurdsson, why aren't we down the line? I don't want this whole thing starting again.
I still think, and I know there's reports coming out, and he didn't even yesterday. Giroud didn't exactly put it to bed, which he could have quite easily done. I just think he's one of them, like he keeps showing us his thigh, with the suzzies on, as like maybe not. And I think we probably, I might be wrong, but I just think. It smacks of we're waiting for him to make his decision. I think we need to go, Olivier, 24 hours, and if you don't want to come, we're moving on to
because something. I think for him, for a World Cup year, I think until the transfer window shuts, he's going to have about 3 or 4 league games, and I think that's going to be his time to assess whether he's the first choice.
It's not dangerous for him.
It's perfect for him, isn't it?
Because he will sit there now. Because at the end of the day, Lacazette could get injured on Saturday, and he could be first choice player. Do you know what I mean? That's what he's got to establish. Let's be honest, he doesn't really want to leave Arsenal.
What would you do just very quickly before we wrap it up as Koeman? Then say he's and and do you just go, because this is really important, I think.
Do you know what I would do before?
You go like that,
I'll tell you what I'd do.
Cut it, and I'm going for Benteke or whoever else.
I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd make it very publicly I'd make it very public that I wanted them for a start.
He doesn't. We won't do.
But I would do that though, and I don't understand why Everton don't do that. No, I don't understand why Everton don't.
Because he's not for sale.
But he does do that though. He's put Sigurdsson.
Just everybody knows.
But we still didn't. We've never played the game like that though. We've never got.
Swansea haven't battered it. Paul Clement's commenting on it.
He hasn't mentioned Everton. He says other club. He says other club.
The other club.
We don't do that enough. Other clubs are not asked to throw names out left, right, and centre. If I was him, I would make it very publicly known who we are after. We're after Giroud, and not that team. You don't have to make it publicly known. What you do is you send it to people like him. Then he makes it publicly known.
But he has done it with Paul Joyce.
And then someone says, but then someone says to him in a press conference, you have to. I know they did yesterday. They mentioned Giroud, so it might be happening. Well, he just didn't.
Well, on Sunday he did say what positions he wanted.
He said the positions, which was
forward, and then
I'd like a French centre forward, please,
with a great
lovely
beard and a lovely hairstyle.
I'm gonna turn up with on a bike with onions around.
But for me, I think I'd just look at you look at Giroud, you look at Bakambu, you look at Edin Dzeko. You put in a bid for all of them, and then you see how far you get with each one, and then you let Giroud's agent go. No, we're nearly getting Dzeko here, and then that's when Giroud. I think you've got to. Everton need to cover themselves now. We've got the money where we can make a series of bids, and it's not going to bite us on the backside.
The only
be proactive to cover ours.
The only thing I would maybe
last night looked at Bakambu one on YouTube. Never do it, and I just looked at.
You know what annoys me?
He'd be boss for us.
That Dembele kid that Barca are after. We should have got him last year when he was at France. He was in France and he was like.
He was happy. Dembele itself.
Well, the only thing I would say is maybe. Whoever we're after, the striker wise, maybe we've got assurances that we can get it wrapped up pretty quick. If it is a case of the player is coming, maybe that, not they're saying it's all agreed, but maybe behind the scenes the feeling is that if it happens, it can happen quite quick. It's just waiting to see, and that's happened before in football.
We've got a centre forward there.
No, he's the coach.
No, we've got a centre forward, number 34. He hasn't had a minute. Why haven't we given him a minute?
Oh, yes!
Yes, he did. Why haven't we given him a go? Just for the hell of it.
Because he's not wanted.
No, but
surprised he was given a squad number.
Just play the lad. Just give him a go. He's going to Brighton this week, but it looks like. But I'd just give him a go to see him again. That's how made up he'd have been wearing our kit. He loves it. He'd be happy. Imagine we played him and he got at it and he'd be like, "Oh my God, he's the answer."
I just give him to Swansea. I just give him to Swansea.
They don't want him.
I don't give him.
Brighton do that.
I throw him in free.
Brighton want.
No, when you see those things on info commercials where it's like a juicer and you get a free stapler. Do you know what I mean? It's nothing to do. It's nothing to do with the product you're buying, but you just get this free thing. And you're buying a juicer and you get a free will kit.
Maybe that's why Sigurdsson hasn't come here, because we've agreed the money and everything, but we're trying to get us involved
like,
as well.
We don't want him, even if he's for free.
It adds up to more than 50 million.
We'll pay his wages.
Yeah, we bought him.
We don't want him. Just leave it there. Yeah. So yeah, we've basically covered everything, haven't we? It's
gone on longer than
pretty much turned to season preview. This.
No, it hasn't.
No, no, it hasn't. That'd be a completely separate video.
It will be
with all the words rearranged in different orders.
Yes.
So we're quite happy with pre-season. Then
I'll tell you on the preview.
Oh, that's the preview. This is the pre-season.
Yeah.
Completely two different things.
No, because I'd love us to play fast attacking football with 5-0 every game.
I think I'm
amazing.
Happier about the transfer business, but I still want more. That's been the most encouraging bit of the summer, the actual football that we've watched sort of brought you back down to earth, didn't you? Because like the first Rosenborg game, I was so chuffed with the transfer window, and the first 10 minutes I'm thinking, this is what the football is actually. It's not about signing players.
It's just real football.
I think the Sevilla game just tempered my excitement just because the final third worries me a little bit.
I think the best way to describe it is knowing like the weeks before like FIFA or Pro Evo come out and you're like, yeah, it's like the new FIFA, it's the new Pro Evo, and you put it in, you go, yeah, they've just got new kits and it's exactly the same. New kits, the new players, but it's pretty much the same game. They haven't really done anything with it.
Just very quickly take a moment to say how lovely that kit was yesterday.
Boss. I saw a shout, someone said, I think it was in reply to Toffee TV, where if the last season of Goodison. I don't know what to shout.
They'll bring another kit out for that though.
It's a nice kit though.
It was nice.
They should do, because it's obviously, it was to commemorate.
I haven't bought a shirt for years now, but I think I'm going to buy that one. It's timeless, isn't it?
Really
proper
good.
smart, it's really nice.
Really nice.
Yeah, no, it was really nice. And the club, I don't think the club are allowed to wear it again because you have to register kits. Yeah. So I don't think they're allowed to wear it again. But
boss, right?
It was nice.
And on a positive note.
It was nice. Yeah, there you have it. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are about the pre-season. Are you encouraged? Are you a bit annoyed that we've sort of stuttered in the transfer window, or are you just happy that we've done the business and it'll all progress as the season goes on? Let us know in the comments. If you haven't already subscribed to Patreon, then why? What are you waiting for? I mean, Ell's not on it because he's got his own one in it. So yeah, so do that as well. There'll be the links after we are gone. See you later.